Good morning, everybody. We're looking at Mark 11 and John 12. And I want to bring up something that was always perplexing for me in my youth. And there are some people who still struggle over this and have some difficulties understanding it. And that's the cursing of the fig tree. The cursing of the fig tree. And a lot of people don't understand really everything that's around this. And what some people take away from is this is just a lesson in prayer. This is a lesson in the power of prayer. This is a lesson in faith. There is that contained in it, but there's a lot more. You have to look at actually the context of the whole thing, of what's going on. First of all, the fig tree. It had the appearance of being fruitful. It was in leaf. It was in green leaf. It looked like it might have some fruit. Even though I don't know if it was the beginning of the season, maybe the end of the season, whatever, but it was fruitless. It was barren. It had nothing at all there. And maybe Jesus was aware that this is a tree that never bore fruit, never grew any figs. So we got to understand that those things that have been designed to bear fruit are supposed to bear fruit. That's according to Father's function. And at the end of everything, those things that aren't in their proper function will be removed from the kingdom. It's as simple as that. If you are not in your proper place of function, if you are not bearing the fruit that you've been given to bear, you will be removed from you. We have to operate as we've been designed to operate. That's what it is. The fullness of Christ, the richness of our Father. It produces things. That's the kingdom. The kingdom is fruitful. It's fruitful. The kingdom is fruitful. But don't judge that in people. I just want to put that caution in there. Don't, because you what you consider fruit, what your measuring rod might be for that fruit, is not, I guarantee you, is not Father's measuring rod. You don't know in what way they've been called to be fruitful. It could be with invisible things. It could be all kinds of things that you would never measure, that the Father measures. So just be careful. Careful there. It's not for you to judge a person's fruitfulness or not. People look at my life and would say, hey, there's no fruit being produced there. I could look at other people's lives and say, there's no fruit being produced there. But we don't have the full story of people. We don't have the full thing. We have to be so careful with that. We know the little bit that we know. And we've been told to be careful. There's only one righteous judge, and we have to leave for him to judge. Okay, so here's this thing. Okay, then we have what's going on in the temple. We have the money exchangers and we have the livestock dealers. And so what would happen is that even if people who are coming on pilgrimage from long distances, let's say they brought their sacrificial lamb and they got there, the priests would somehow find some defect in them, that this was not an acceptable sacrifice. It had some sort of blemish or something wrong with it. So the pilgrims would be forced to buy one of the ones that were conveniently available for sale. And it was a scam. It was a scam that was going on. And it was the same with the money changers. The currency, from what I understand at that time, was Roman currency, but the temple held on to their own currency. So they would have this high rate of exchange. So when you came in, you couldn't pay the temple tax with the Roman currency. You would have to exchange it, and you would be fleeced. You would be fleeced. So these people looked like they were providing a service, but they were robbers and thieves is what it was. They had a certain appearance, but they were without fruit. There was no fruit involved in this. They were barren. They were a barren people. And so Jesus threw them out. They had nothing to do with the temple. They had nothing to do. They were taken away. They weren't adding to. So he threw them out. Then we, as well, we have there the Pharisees coming to Jesus and asking about John the Baptist. And Jesus says, not asking about John, asking about his authority. And it's not a wrong thing. It's okay to check on a person's authority, but Jesus knew that they wouldn't be willing to receive what he had to say. So he threw it back at them, and he said, okay, then tell me where John got the authority to baptize. And see, their whole thing was appearance. It was always appearance with the Pharisees. That was the whole thing, that they were the society. They were not part of the priesthood. They weren't part of anything. They were a society that would go around and enforce the law, because they were concerned with the identity, the appearance of Israel. And Israel really was under attack, not so much by the Romans, but by the Greek culture. And so the Pharisees were acting against that. It's not that they believed the law. If they believed the law, they'd be living it. But Jesus said they didn't live it. He said, do what they say, but don't do what they do, is what he told the people. So they would enforce the law upon other people, and would misapply the law as well, and be very tough about it. But they themselves weren't living it, and because they had no relationship with Yahweh. That's how it was. It was about appearances. And so this whole thing, now they're concerned about their appearance, what it looks like. What does this look like as a society? They were looking at what do we Pharisees look like. If we say John got it from his authority from heaven, then Jesus will say, well, why didn't you listen to him? And if we say it was from man, then we'll be attacked by the mob. So it's best that we just stay silent. And Jesus said, fine, then I'm staying silent too. They had no fruit, so he wouldn't have anything to do with them. They were mere appearance. They were that fig tree with the leaves. They were the fig tree that had the appearance of bearing fruit, but they had no fruit. And Jesus told us, he said, listen, you're connected to me. You are grafted in. You are connected to me. I'm the vine. You're the branches. You have to bear fruit. If you don't bear fruit, my Father is going to remove you. He will cut you, gather you up, and throw you into the fire. The nature of the kingdom is fruit. The nature of the kingdom is multiplication. The nature of the kingdom is to produce. Is to produce. It's to reproduce. That is the nature of the kingdom. We as Christians have been told to make disciples. Jesus told us to make disciples. Disciples aren't the only fruit. Okay, don't misconstrue me here, but he told us basically it's a replication of ourselves. To make disciples is to reproduce ourselves, to reproduce other followers of Jesus, to teach them what Jesus taught us, to show them what Jesus showed us, to display for them what Jesus displayed for us. This is what we're supposed to. It's like taking on somebody in a stage. A mentoring type of idea is to instill what we received and give it to them. And that's what's supposed to be happening, this multiplication in the kingdom. And Jesus said, don't have the appearance. Don't have the appearance. Because he said it's better to be either hot or cold. Don't be lukewarm. Don't have the appearance and no fruit. Don't have the appearance and no fruit, because I'll spit you out. It's better that you be hot and really producing, or just completely denying and saying no, and don't have the appearance. Just deny, because I can work with that. I can work with that. If you're being honest, if you're saying you don't believe, I can work with that. But don't tell me you believe and then don't produce. It doesn't work that way. So, whoa, that was a bit longer than I intended. So, but there you go. That's what it is about the fig tree. There's much more to it than what a lot of people understand. Just read around it. Read the environment that it's in. Okay, so you guys be blessed today. Be encouraged. Love y'all.